Dean, obviously we know that there'll be a forced change with Quinny out, but is there anything else that you guys have thought of in terms of combinations that you can share with us?
Yeah, definitely. I think we would be silly not to try and look at other combinations going forward. So the last 2-3 days since the test ended, we have obviously been chatting around the possibilities of a few changes. Yeah, obviously Carl Verheyen comes in for Quinny, which was always something that we were aware of and we'd already planned around that. But yeah, we haven't just made up our minds just yet with regards to what other changes we might possibly enforce starting tomorrow.
Just following up on that, have you guys made a decision yet on whether to play a spinner or not?
I'm always a fan of having a frontline spin bowler. I think Kesh of late has put up his hand, and he kind of still deserves his spot within the side. Of late, playing a few domestic games and played the Test series against Australia. The ball spun quite a bit still at Wanderers. Just looking at the conditions for now, I would still think Kesh would retain his spot. He didn't have a horrible game previous game, so yeah, I'm still extremely pro having a spinner just from a stability point of view. He's someone that's, you know, I can throw the ball to, and he can always try and bring down the run rate and stabilize the bowling a little bit. So yeah, as it stands now, I'm pretty sure Kesh will still retain his spot.
First, I would like to congratulate Sips on in advance for the ring belt tomorrow at the Boring. And then to Dean, obviously you had time now to speak with the management after the first test, and obviously it was a bit disappointing. But what have you guys spoke about, and obviously looking to improve overall for the second test against India? Because obviously you guys do want to equalize the series.
No doubt. I think we've had a few very good conversations since the first test finished. I mean, we had to try and break the game up and give us a better option going into the Wanderers game. I think the message that we've obviously come out with is one of, we don't need to panic as a unit. I still think we've got a lot of capable players within the side. Be it as it may, they're quite inexperienced, but they also have to take the responsibility within the positions that they are given. They are by no means bad cricketers because of one or two innings with a bat, for instance. And backing them is still an extremely important thing going forward in Test cricket. That's how you build and grow your Test system. So yeah, we've had a lot of conversations. Sure, the batters have had their talks, and I think we're trying to break it down that we try and play the most basic cricket again, adopt the basic fundamentals, the disciplines within Test match batting, and obviously with the ball, I think there were still a few areas that we could fine tune, maybe making them play a little bit more with the new ball, especially if we're bowling up front. So yeah, there were definitely areas that we spoke about, and obviously chatted to the different respected groups.
Dean, can I ask you your reaction to Quinton's decision? Did you see it coming, and what do you think it means, just in terms of, you know, talented guys like that giving up the red ball game for the big bucks of the white ball game, as it were? You think it's a dangerous precedent maybe for Test cricket?
Well, from my point of view, I was pretty shocked. I wasn't aware of this was going to happen. But sitting down with Quinny that evening and him obviously explaining to me the reason for it, I very much respect his decision and fully understand the space he's in at the moment. Hopefully it doesn't come back one day and he still wishes he was part of our red ball setup. But in saying that, I don't think his decision is going to jeopardize Test cricket going forward. His reasons are his reasons, and as mentioned in a few interviews already around his choice to retire, we as a group, we fully respect it, and we as a group have to get over it and move on now. The game moves on. When guys retire, I've been fortunate enough experienced quite a few big South African cricketers retire of late, and one thing I've realised is the game of cricket continues. You're not immortal, and the game definitely doesn't stop for you. I can tell you that. So us as a players group, we kind of had to get over it quickly, and still kind of understand and respect the position Quinny is in.
Just want to go back to the game now. What do you guys feel that the Wanderers pitch is going to offer you as a team on the batting front, seeing that could have been the major problem the last time around? Thank you.
Yeah, I think just looking at the surface, the surface will be playing a lot better than what I think it has in recent times. They have a new groundsman now in Evan, and I think he's tried to make it a little bit more batting friendly, or a little bit more of a better cricket wicket that creates good test cricket. Again, irrespective of how the wickets play, and us as batters, we have to put our hands up, and we have to take responsibility and ownership of our positions that we've been given. And yeah, hopefully it works that way. I mean, we've been echoing a lot of positivity throughout the group. As mentioned earlier, one or two innings doesn't make a cricketer a bad player, for instance. So yeah, and you're only one knock away from being back in form. So there's a lot of positives for us going into the next test tomorrow. Yeah, and hopefully we can adopt the language that we've been speaking in the last few days.
Dean, there has been some talk about playing 7 specialist batsmen. Presumably conditions do dictate whether that's something you do or not. But having said what you said about Keshav Maharaj, would you be comfortable with just 4 frontline bowlers, 3 seamers and a spinner, or does the Wanderers not look like it's going to be supportive of that?
Yeah, good question, Ken. But again, I go back to the way Kesh has been as a test player for us. I know sometimes you're inclined to go horses for courses, but I think he's one that adapts to whatever conditions that's in front of him. I entrust that he is a very, very smart and clever cricketer, and his record of late speaks for itself. But saying that, I still think having a left-arm spinner bowling to the Indian batters who have 10 right-hand batters as well, they only have 1 left-hander in Rishabh Pant. It's something for us to utilize as well. Tactically, we can always be a lot better, but still from a stability point of view, Kesh still has an extremely big role for us to play in this test series.
Salford?
Hello, Dean. You knew before the end of the test match in Centurion that you wouldn't have Quinton around for the rest of the series, and of course it is in the past. But you just said you were shocked to find out about his retirement, and of course there's not much time between that match and this one. So are you a little worried that, the Oaks might be going onto the field thinking, my goodness, Quinton de Kock is retired? Do you think there'll be some kind of hangover, or you're going to have to do a job as a captain to get their heads into the game?
No, I don't think there will be that, because I mentioned to us as a group that the game moves on, and there's responsibility for us as the rest of the squad to carry and conduct ourselves like international players. We still have to be extremely professional around this. We still have a test series to level and hopefully win in Cape Town. So I don't think there's going to be a hangover of a shock retirement by Quinny. It is what it is, and rightly we respect it. And I think the players respect the environment as well. We realize that we've had quite a few setbacks over recent times, and I think this is just another one that we need to obviously be clever around, and obviously we need to get over, because the game moves on, as I've mentioned before, and I don't see this affecting the players of having still being shocked around his retirement.
Up next is Grant Fiddles, Niharika, and Sanele.
Thanks, Dean. Compliments of the new year to you.
Thank you.
Just in terms of the batting order, how do you see that taking shape? Obviously, yourself and Tembo were obdurate and good in the middle order, but it seems to be a bit of a concern with the lineup. How do you see it?
Again, players have to take responsibility. you can talk and talk until there's actions. And I did say to the guys the other day that I need to see actions now. Talk is cheap if you don't have the reaction from those kind of talks. And as blunt as it is, I'm afraid Test cricket is a hard and ruthless environment. And if you want to survive and be successful in this format, you need to kind of ask yourself the hard questions, and you need to respond on those questions. It's always been the culture and language that I was brought up with, and it's something that I want the other guys to also think about. I'm pretty sure they're also disappointed in the way things happened in the previous game. But saying that, they're not bad players. They definitely haven't become any weaker as from a cricketing point of view. They just need to be mentally a little bit more switched on and understand. Listen, Test cricket is bloody tough, and you're facing some of the best bowlers in the world now. Now you need to put on your big boy pants, and you need to react to what's happened.
Dean, I just realized when you spoke about retirements that pretty much since your debut, every year there's been a big retirement. Yeah. So I'm just wondering, like, when you see that kind of thing happening, do you sometimes look around and think like, flip, who's going to go next, or just how do you deal with knowing that this happens so often?
For those, I can't answer that question because if it was up to me, I wouldn't have had any of those guys retire around. So yeah, that's a tough one. But again, retirements are part and parcel of the game. I don't think it's a kind of thing that you can control, because it's ultimately out of your hands as a player if you're not making those decisions for your career. It's disappointing. I mean, don't get me wrong. Not having Quinny around again is disappointing for me, and it's something I need to get over, because I know there's a lot more other talented players within our squad, within our system that I need to give a lot of attention to now, and that's perfectly fine. As tough as it is, it's one of those things that you just need to crack on with, and you need to get over it as quick as possible.
Hi, Captain. First of all, a very happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
And my question for you is that in the Centurion Test, we saw KL Rahul get a big century, while you and Temba were stuck in the half century. So ahead of the second Test, how big is the importance of getting those big hundreds when one of you gets set? And if there have been any conversations in the batting group or with the head coach about how to get those big hundreds?
Yeah, I mean, you need big hundreds in Test cricket to compete and win. We're very much aware of that. Yeah, I mean, KL's 100 was great for India, and it kind of set them up for the rest of the game. So trust me, I'm very disappointed that we had the 250s within the Test, knowing that I'm a guy that can come in and also score big hundreds, and that's also my job that I need to look after. And Temba as well. Temba needs to push on. He needs to stop getting those good 50s and start getting those hundreds again. Because we know how far it goes from a team point of view with regards to setting up a team and also taking away a lot of time in the game as well. So yeah, it's definitely an area that I thought was maybe the turning point within the first Test, and also the area I think is still going to be quite important for the next few.
Thank you so much again, Sips. Dean, there's been quite a lot of mixed reaction with regards to Quinton de Kock's retirement these past days after the game in the South African public. I just wanted to check with you if you can give the public a bit of an insight into the cricket environment professionally, especially now during the pandemic, with regards to the amount of time that you guys travel, the toll that it takes on you mentally and physically. Maybe then the public can understand it a little bit more as to why this is such a difficult thing to do.
People think it's glamorous and you live in massive houses and drive nice cars, and you get free clothing. That is part of it, but the flip side around this is it's extremely demanding on personal lives. If you're in a relationship, it's extremely difficult because we spend a lot of time away from home. As it is now, if you play white ball cricket, you're away from home for maybe 2 months playing IPL, and if that's all you do, you got 10 months at home for you to be around your loved ones. If you play 3 or 4 test series, that's potentially 6 to 8 months away from home in a year. So I can understand the toll of it on yourself, and especially now we live in these bubbles, and the people that construct our bubbles are trying their utmost to try and make it a lot more player friendly now, by giving us luxuries to maybe live in a hotel on a golf course, just knowing that a lot of guys like to play golf, and that's just one example of guys having a way out just to clear their minds. And of late it has been a bit of a struggle for quite a lot of guys, because of what's happened around the world with COVID, and putting guys into the bubble is not easy. But it's hard work, and this is by no means a bitch or moan. It's honestly the truth, and the reality around it is we spend a lot of time away from home, and we still love what we do, but it is tough on a few guys. And if you have 19 or 20 players now with your 6 to 8 management, each person is unique and different in their own ways. Their personalities obviously deal with it a lot differently. We got to respect those kind of decisions and the different personnel and personalities we have within the squad. And as said, each guy responds to it a lot differently.
Between you and Aiden, you guys have individually performed quite well in the last 12 months in the limited test matches that South Africa's played. I was wondering, in these conversations that you've had, you guys know each other quite well. How do you go about discussing and then planning to kind of do it better as a combination, so that the guy coming in at 3 isn't doing it as early as KP has had to do it the last few games?
Stu, I think it's one of those things where Aiden and I don't have to speak about it anymore, because we know the responsibility and the burden that comes with opening the batting, that we need to look after the new ball. With us looking after the new ball, that allows our number 3, 4, and 5, and number 6 to obviously come in and be as natural as possible. So of late, we've played under a few relatively rough conditions, I would say, batting conditions, but in saying that, it's no excuse. We need to be better. We need to obviously get those partnerships going again, like we have had in the past when we first started opening the batting with each other. I don't even think we have to have those conversations, because we know as an opening pair we need to get us off to a better start, just to give the guys a little bit more of a clearer mindset going in when it's their turn to bat.
Dean, could there be a shift or two in the batting order? What's your thinking around that?
I don't see it happening just yet, Dennis. It was definitely something that we spoke about. I think that was one of the big issues of us to talk about. But I don't think it's going to change just yet. I know the selectors still want to give guys opportunities at certain positions, and got to respect their decisions going forward. But we definitely did have those kind of talks the last few days.
Dean, what kind of talks or session or you as a captain have with your players, knowing that heading into the second game you guys are 1-0 down in the test series?
I don't think I can actually say the words that I said recently, but we definitely have a lot of hard chats. I think the hard chats that we've had the last day or two have been extremely constructive for us going forward, from a awareness point of view, from a building point of view. We've definitely I have definitely had a lot of talks with the guys, even if it's from a personal capacity. I'll take the guys one side and just try and just chat, see the guy, if the guy's in a good space, give him a little bit of affirmation, just to put him in a better mind space or mindset. There have been a few conversations going around with regards to me speaking to the group, and also speaking to individual players.